Hi, this is Mr. Evans. This is going to be a 5-minute video covering what you need to know for GCSE Unit 3. So, Unit 3 is operations, business operations. It's assessed in paper 1. So you should be revising this the night before paper 1. It's all about operations management, which is the functional area associated with the fulfillment of customers' orders. Basically, these are the people who are in charge of getting the product from being a raw material to delivering it to the final customer. This involves managing the supply chain. The supply chain are those internal and external organisations that are involved in getting the product to the final customer from being a raw material. So that involves procurement. Procurement means finding and buying raw materials and supplies that a business needs in order to operate. This would include raw materials, but it would also include all of the machinery, like all of the paper for the photocopiers, the coffee for the vending machines. Procurement is basically buying stuff to make sure that the organisation can function. So in order to buy stuff, organisations need suppliers. They will pick their suppliers on 3 things: price, quality and reliability. These are the factors that determine what suppliers an organisation uses. Once we've got the raw material, we have to manage those raw materials along the supply chain. So that is called logistics. When you're thinking of logistics, it involves moving an organisation's products around from the raw material to the final good and getting them to customers. Think about the supermarkets, who are very, very good at logistics. Once an organisation has sorted out all its supply chain, it needs to decide how it's going to produce. One method of production is just-in-case production, where the business makes a load of stuff and then hopes to sell it to consumers. Okay, so they make lots and lots of products and they hope that they can sell them. That's one method of producing. Businesses are very concerned with efficiency in production. Efficient production means making the most possible product out of your inputs. It's associated with low levels of waste, low average costs, and increased profitability. Average unit costs are a really important measure of efficiency. That involves dividing your total cost by the total output. This is a formula that you've got to remember. It could be tested in the exam. So how does an organisation cut its average unit costs, which is a very important metric? It aims to do various things. One of those strategies could be lean production, where you try to minimise waste in the production process. Waste includes raw material, time, capital, labour. One way of reducing waste is to use just-in-time production. This is basically the opposite of just-in-case production. Instead of producing it's just in case you make a load of stuff and hope people buy them, in just-in-time production, you just make products when they're ordered by consumers. This has a lot of advantages, mostly in terms of the cost of storing raw materials. In addition to just-in-time or just-in-case, organisations could use job production, which is making a single product from start to end, that tends to be associated with a high level of customer satisfaction. A haircut, it's a one-off product. Nobody else has that haircut. It's a one-off product for you. Okay. The disadvantages of job production are that you often require highly skilled workers, and it can be quite high prices. A tailored suit is another example of job production. That's different to flow production. Flow production is far more efficient because you can use big machines to do flow production, which involves producing a huge amount of products at once rather than just producing one-off products. But because these are just mass-produced items, they're usually cheaper, so that's good. But they might cost a little bit more. The machinery that you need to produce can be quite expensive, and consumers might not be quite as satisfied. Speaking of customer satisfaction, quality is a really important concept in this unit. It's the ability of a product to meet or need consumers' expectations. There are different ways of measuring the quality of a good, like this car, versus the quality of a service, like this hotel. So what are the benefits of providing a good quality product? Basically, you're going to get a positive reputation. You might be able to charge a high price and people are going to be satisfied with your service. However, you might need to train staff. You might need to buy better raw materials. Remember, quality was a factor that businesses consider when picking their suppliers. And there can be administration costs in terms of looking after customers and having returns. So, how do businesses manage their quality? There are two main methods of managing quality. One of them is total quality management. There's my 5 minutes. I'll just try and finish up. So one of those methods that a business can use to measure its quality is total quality management. This is where all of the people in the production line are basically responsible for the quality of their own stuff. That's good for workers because they have responsibility that can lead to motivation, should be lower wastage levels, but it relies on the commitment of all employees. That contrasts from the ways that businesses largely used to do quality management, which was quality control, where you'd have a quality inspector at the end of the production line checking for the quality before it was sent out. That wasn't quite so good for motivation because workers, they would rely on this quality inspector at the end of the call. They had less responsibility in terms of managing their own quality. So finally, customer service. Customer service can be provided in three ways. Staff with excellent product knowledge, creating a positive experience for the customer, which AQA call customer engagement, or providing a post-sales service, which is where you look after the customers after they've made a product. There are various benefits and costs of customer service, and you also need to be aware of the sales process. So the sales process is different in every organisation, but these are the different steps involved in the sales process, so you might want to have a look at that slide. Finally, ICT and Customer Service. ICT has enabled organisations to change the way that they provide customer service in these various ways.